fellow traders, 'tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Monday, August the 11th. The year's 2025. Let's talk trading, weekly, open, and gap. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. As always, make sure you have your risk management in place so you don't lose more than you're willing to lose on any one single trade or during any one single trading session. So, we'll take a look at the weekly chart. According to the dashboard, all the open gaps have filled. And right now, the pound is 37 pips below the weekly open, 68 pips off the high, and 2 off the low. If we zoom out to the month, you can see we're 209 pips above the monthly open, 68 off the high, and 268 off the low. And just eyeballing it, it looks like price hit the midpoint of this candle body here the previous month and then reversed. That's one of Walmart. He likes those midpoints of the candle bodies. We're putting in the opening range for the week today. We are above the opening range for the month, and we are above the opening range for the year. Notice it looks like we're going to be making some new lows here. For the year, 890, 897 pips above. Yearly open, 381 off the high, and 1308 off the low. We had an inside bar 4 days ago. We're well above that. And it looks like we just have about a handful of inside bar action happening here. Looking at today's ranges, pounds clocking in at 71, and only 2 pairs are over 100 pips, and both of those happen to be New Zealand pairs. So I wonder what's going on down there. And looking at the buy zone, you can see we crossed that weekly/daily open a couple of hours ago. Actually about 3, maybe 3.5 hours ago. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 hours ago. And price hasn't looked back. It looks like the green rats should get ready. Wait for your signal. It looks like price probably wants to go down, touch the double low, maybe do the 95.90 move. We'll have to wait and see. Notice it turned right around the 34.75. That's psychological. So it's moved down a bunch of pips since then. Also, price started out in the launch pad, and it did launch. Bambino Flex indicator says go long. Price near the pivot, it called a long. The first time it worked, the second time not so much. Price near S1, bias is long. That didn't really pay out, considering S1's at 34.238, which is really close to the psychological 25. And we've taken out today's pivot. We took out Friday's pivot. So we still have 2 missed pivots this month. In and out of the upper and lower wick zone, as you can see here, we came down this hour out of 34.179 level, And we moved nicely about 12, almost 13 pips below there. Anybody taking that breakout trade. Because as we know, price does not like staying in the wick zone. It's really interesting when I look at other traders' charts and the methods they use. And it's, as somebody who's written hundreds of indicators, I know it might sound funny, but indicators are not, if you have problems, indicators are not going to solve your problems. Method is not going to solve your problem. You have to work on you. That will solve your problem. And the problem being is you're losing more than you're winning. And that's just something that you're going to have to realize, because there's somebody using the method successfully that you're using and failing. And the only difference is the trader, not the method. And it's just like, what market or instrument you trade. Some people trade stocks. Somebody was talking or emailing me about CFDs. And it's just like, I don't trade those things, so I don't have any expertise. I don't have any opinions. I don't know them. So I really, all I can say is, if you want to use my methods, you need to run the statistics, see which tool will work best on the instrument that you're wanting to trade. I mean, some pairs, work really great on the buy zone. Other pairs work on the wick zone. Some pairs work great on the rat zone. I mean, some pairs you can fade the pivot, but some do it better than others. So you have to look at which method works best with the instrument you want to trade. And that's something that a lot of traders don't do. You give them a hammer and every pair is a nail. I like that saying because it's so true. You can see it in things other than trading. Okay, looking at the smart range, 74 pips so far at the 0 percentile. Okay, we broke out of the high by 18 pips. We've not broken out of the previous week's high. We have not broken out of the previous week's low. High minus close right now, 74. Close minus low, 0. So we're making new lows. Open minus low for the crossover traders, 42. High minus open, 32. So there was money to be made going across that weekly open. As you can see here, we broke out of the previous M30 low, broke out of the previous H1 low, broke out of the previous day's low. So green rats, you're just going to have to be patient. Notice on M30, muted ranges here, right there. And looking at the highest low, lowest high chart, like we had a highest low here, right around 3412 area. You can see it put in a one ball, but just lower lows, and it just broke through that highest low. You just put in a lowest high this bar. Let's see what happens here. And it looks like we're going to put in a new lowest high. Unless price reverses, but it really looks like it wants the double low. Been working with indicator 2, making some observations. The distance from price to indicator 2. One thing I noticed is if you were to trade, if you were to go long here, and so long as this is red, price a lot of times will return to indicator 2 or the EMA 5 and then reverse right off of it, off of this. I see that a lot. So one of the things I'll do is if when I enter, if I was to enter long, this is green, this is red. As soon as that hit green, I would exit because a lot of times price will just bounce off of it. And you can see what I'm talking about here. So it's just something to note. If anybody's out there trading with indicator 2. Wonder if Trend Trader, aka Harry, or Harry, aka Trend Trader, if he's still, he was one of my equity trading buddies from back in the early 2000s or mid to late 2000s. Wonder if he's still out there trading. Okay, ATR for the month is 487. Let's see what we have here. We got 336. Need to push that range. Take a look here. Prices between the wick zones, yes. Lower high, lower low on the monthly. The weekly, we're between wick zones. Higher high, higher low so far. On the daily, below the lower wick zone. Looks like we're bouncing off that low. We exceeded the previous range so far by 37 pips. Sellers strong control at the moment. We crossed below previous mid and below the pivot. And we've got a higher high, lower low, so we're putting in an outside bar. Something to be aware of. So, fellow traders, one other thing about trading you're going to have to realize if you're struggling, that's, once again, that's feedback. And before you get good, you're going to have to go through it. And so you have to be patient and just try to improve one thing a day, whether it's your entry, your exit, your timing. Just pick one thing and make sure you do it better today than you did at the last trading session. And then hopefully you'll improve. You'll wipe out your errors and you'll be on the path to being profitable. And I want you to always remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.